go ahead and start us off. So welcome everyone. Today is April 19th, 2022, and this is a meeting of the Seattle City Redistricting Commission. This commission is comprised of appointed members of the public and is responsible for overseeing the development of new city council district lines in response to the completed 2020 census. Meeting materials, minutes, and additional information are found at seattle.gov/redistricting. This meeting is scheduled from now until 1:10, and we welcome your participation during public comment. Before we get started with official business, we'd like to acknowledge that we're located on ancestral lands of the Coast Salish people, specifically the Duwamish, Suquamish, Stillaguamish, and Muckleshoot tribes, people that are still here and continue to honor their heritage. At this time, I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of approving the minutes?
All right.
Aye.
Aye.
All right, the minutes are approved. Next, in an effort to share with the public that the commissioners are receiving and reviewing public comment, we ask that at each meeting, each commissioner affirms the review of received comments. Commissioners, have you received and reviewed the public comments as listed in the tracker?
Yes.
It was touch and go, but yes.
All right, that's everybody. So now at this time, we move to the first of two sections for public comment. Each speaker will have 2 minutes. We will begin with those that have signed up online. The first person listed is Daniel Anakin. Is Daniel in the chat?
No, not at this time.
All right, the second person listed is Ronald William Bowie. Ronald, are you there? All right, moving on to the third person listed, Joseph Lockman. Joseph, would you like to provide comment? All right. Next up, Andrew Masser-Hong. Julie Holland. Joanna Cullen. Steve Horvath.
I see Joanna in the chat. So Joanna, if you want to raise your hand, we can let you provide public comment if you're open to that. Yep, okay.
I didn't open an email that said something about thank you for signing up, but I didn't sign up to speak today. I'm just here.
Okay.
Well, thank you for being here. Is there anyone else that would like to give testimony at this time that has not previously signed up online? Hearing none, I'm going to go ahead and move forward. Thank you. Commissioners, now we ask that if you've had any interactions, communication, or meetings that you'd like to disclose, to please do so now. Are there any disclosures? No, we are blowing through this meeting, folks. So hearing none, we're going to move along. So now we are going to hear an update from our staff on the Open Public Meetings Act. And I believe, Ariel, the time is yours, or maybe Jen.
I believe Ariel was going to give us an update, but I don't see her on the participant list right now. So I guess maybe we could jump ahead and come back when she shows up.
Sure, no problem. So we can go ahead and move into the outreach update, which I think, Logan, you'll be covering for Elsa today with Jen. So take it away.
Sure, thanks. So we've been having a lot going on in terms of like neighborhood meetings. We've had 3 more successful meetings this past week with the Lake City Neighborhood Alliance, Small Lake Community Leaders, and Victory Heights. In the next 2 weeks, we will have meetings with Alliance for Pioneer Square, Eritrean Community Center, Urban Native members, Northwest Service Providers, Finney Ridge Community Council, Cascade Neighborhood Council's Executive Board in District 7, Rainier Beach, Vietnamese Community, El Centro de la Raza. That will not be a public meeting, just to note that. And then the Oromo community and Ethiopian community. let's see, another update is the city is starting to prep for hybrid meetings. So they're prepping Seattle Public Library rooms and city meeting rooms to offer hybrid options for public meetings. And Elsa's proposal is to have the first 2 forums in May fully online, and then we can have the following ones with a hybrid option. And I think once Ariel gets on, she can give an update on OPMA, but just for context, I think it's sounding like sometime in June, we may be starting to require having an in-person option. And yeah, I think that's the main updates for outreach right now.
Logan, could you describe what OPMA stands for?
Oh, sure, of course. So it's the Open Public Meetings Act, and it's, if we kind of recall the state of Washington redistricting process, they kind of ran into issues because they didn't adhere to it towards the end of their process. And basically, right now, the OPMA change involves like COVID and emergency declarations. Basically, like the governor is, I think it's either the governor, I think the state of Washington made a decision to kind of relax some of those like emergency action things that impacted OPMA to allow us to be fully virtual.
Right.
So I think that's starting to come to an end. So they're just trying to navigate like having in-person options again and how to like make that safe and also allow for the virtual option because it just allows for more participation from the public. So I don't know, is that okay answer?
I just wanted to make sure that folks in the public knew what that acronym stood for.
Of course, yep.
And just as a quick aside on this, this is something that Elsa and I are working on, how this may affect the future online only participants, where we may have the chair or a commissioner online, the rest of us in person. I'll solicit your guys' feedback on how you'd like that to be organized, probably individually. But this is something that came from the governor's office where those emergency provisions were removed. I think right now we're going for, there will likely be potentially one person in a box online and then hopefully the rest of us in person, but open to suggestions and be looking for those emails probably in the next couple of weeks here. Commissioner Shaw.
Just to note that when I completed our survey of when we're available for the public forums, I assumed it was virtual. So I'm not available all the times if we're all going to be in person, but maybe I'd be our virtual person for some of them.
Oh,
Is that
great
true
timing.
for-
Ariel is online now, so she can specify any questions folks have on OPMA.
Great. Ariel, take it away.
Sorry about that. Hi, everybody. Some connection issues today. Okay, so Elsa marked out some time for me to brief you on some updates that the state legislature has passed for the OPMA, the Open Public Meeting Act. And I think what I can do is start by preface this by saying these amendments will go into effect in June. Provided that the current proclamation that we are operating under, Governor Proclamation 2028-14, is rescinded, because we are currently, the provisions for us participating in remote meetings is currently pursuant to that Governor Proclamation. So no OPMA amendments will be really effective or really have any bearing on the way the commission conducts its business until the governor's proclamation is rescinded or otherwise amended. So that's something to bear in mind. That said, If the governor's proclamation is rescinded, the OPMA will have some changes, some amendments. Basically, what the state legislature has done is acknowledge that since 1971, there have been a lot of advancements in technology. So currently, OPMA reads as if all meetings are going to be conducted in person. The amendments, in a nutshell, encourage the city to provide means to participate in the meetings remotely, in addition to physically holding open public meetings. What that means is, if starting in June, and if the governor's proclamation is rescinded or otherwise amended, the commission will be required to hold its meetings in a physical location. However, commissioners are permitted to participate remotely, even if that means all commissioners are participating remotely, and the public can participate remotely. But what it does is provide an obligation on DON's side, or the city's side, to make a public space available so that if a member of the public wishes to participate in person in a meeting, it can do so. That is the general sketch of the changes. I think there are a couple of other obligations that this commission is already meeting. It mandates public comment if in a regular meeting the commission is scheduled to take a final action. We're already doing public comments, so that should not really affect our business in any way. It also has a provision where if the commission goes into executive session, the minutes should reflect the purpose for going into executive session. A couple other details like that. So that's really the update. It does put a little bit more work on Logan and Elsa and the city, but for your purposes, you can still continue to participate remotely if you wish to do so once the amended OPMA goes into effect. Currently, just to summarize our current position under the governor's proclamation, just to kind of remind you all where we're at, the governor's proclamation 2028 version 14 mandates that the city hold its meetings remotely, but allows an in-person participation under particular circumstances. So in a way, the new OPMA kind of switches it. Currently, we have an expectation that we will hold our meetings remotely, but will allow in-person meetings under certain circumstances. If Proclamation 2028 gets rescinded or otherwise altered, and it's after June, the expectation is that we hold the meetings that meetings are held in a physical location in person, but we are encouraged to hold a remote option, and commissioners are allowed to participate remotely, even if it means the entire commission is participating remotely. Hopefully that just updates you without confusing you. So let me know if you have any questions. Commissioner Malava.
So this question may not be for you, Ariel. Maybe it's more for the DON staff on an idea of a physical location, and then secondly, the hybrid infrastructure for these meetings, and if we would be able to have access to that planned hybrid plan. Because I've seen when we have a mix of virtual and in-person meetings, sometimes technology has just been a struggle for us to reorient to that.
I'll hop in by saying yes, that is the million-dollar question. It is a concern that City Council is grappling with, as well as other commissions as well. Well, we will all be subject to these concerns. So it is going to be a citywide project to ensure that the commission has the technology it needs to be able to hold these meetings, these hybrid meetings. But Logan, if I'm not sure to what degree you want to, you have any information specifically about what DON is intending to do.
Sure, yeah. So we got an invite from folks in IT to actually have an in-person training for hybrid meetings. from what I understand, we were looking into a city room. It's the L280, the Boards and Commissions room at City Hall. That's I think we're going to have the training in early May, so we'll be right on time for that hybrid option, if that's helpful. And I can always send out the training to folks if that would be helpful. But like Ariel said, you don't have to worry too much about it because you can stay virtual if that's your preference.
Great. Any other questions on the hybrid meeting format or OPMA? Great. Thank you both. All right, we can turn it back to Logan if you have any other additional information on the outreach plan.
I don't believe I have any other information there, but I think I did miss one detail. It was also is planning on creating a summary of all the comments so far before public forums start. So we'll have like a good jumping off point for those meetings.
Thank you. Commissioner O'Sullivan.
I was noticing on the document that we received in preparation for this meeting, indicating which commissioners were available for which events, which meeting dates. There are meeting dates that are listed indicating that I'm not available, that I think I am available. So should I just send that information, Logan, to you and Elsa, or what's the best way to ensure that was that being prepared in an attempt to confirm our availability for those dates?
I believe so. I think we can connect offline, and we'll make sure that all that information is updated for you.
Okay, great, thanks.
Commissioner Nichols.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Logan, we'll all receive invites, calendar invites to all of the sessions, right?
I believe so, yeah.
Let me make a specific request that we all receive invites to all of them, because as Commissioner O'Sullivan just pointed out, schedules might change, availability might change. So I think it'd be good to have as much participation as possible, and that would, I think, help with that. Thank you.
Great, yeah, we'll do.
Commissioner O'Sullivan.
Yeah, well, one more question real quick. The document also indicates possible locations even for those forums scheduled prior to June. Is the plan to have an in-person option for all of them even before any of the exemptions are listed, or what's the current plan for the two forums that are scheduled for May?
Oh, yeah, so I think the update from Elsa was the suggestion was to have the two meetings in May totally virtual, and then the ones after that would have the hybrid meeting option.
So that would mean that there would be two districts that we don't have an in-person option for, and then 5 districts that we do have an in-person option for. I might just make the suggestion that we try to ensure that if we're giving an in-person option for some of the districts, we attempt to provide an in-person option for all of the districts.
I agree. Well, I'll just chime in really briefly. I agree with that. I think that the possible locations were set before we knew we were going to move to this new format. But it is concerning that they're both essentially in South Seattle. Commissioner Shaw.
Thank you. Are we currently allowed to do hybrid meetings? per the governor's proclamation? It hasn't been rescinded.
Under version 14, we are, as long as there are certain conditions are met. One of those conditions is that the members of the public have the ability to simultaneously hear other members of the public speaking, as well as the commission, as well as there's certain requirements. For example, if the technology cuts out, the meeting has to be put in recess or adjourned until we can get everybody back online. So as long as there's certain abilities for requirements involving the public's ability to speak and be heard, those meetings can be can have a remote component. Or sorry, an in-person component, which is, I believe, the way you phrased the question.
Thank you.
So it sounds like there's a request to investigate how to more equitably distribute the in-person locations for you all as staff, and then come back to us probably as soon as possible with what that solution is, so that we're able to attend and sign off on it. And I think the second point is just, I think it's really commendable how many of us are available for nearly all of these. I think we have a majority of us in quorum at nearly everyone, and I'm thankful for all of my colleagues for making time for that as well. Any other comments on the hybrid meeting format? All right. Moving on, we are now going to move to the second of two sections for public comment, allowing those that didn't arrive on time in the first section to get in their comments, or those that have been inspired to do so. Is there anybody who wishes to make comment at this time? Going once, going twice. All right. Thank you so much. This is a record pace meeting, folks. So our next meeting is proposed to be on May 3rd. And this is to accommodate the additional meetings that we have with the public, as well as some forums in our schedules. Is there any comment, concern with adjourning until May 3rd? Commissioner O'Sullivan.
And if we're not going to be meeting until May 3rd, I just want to encourage staff to get back to us prior to that date with respect to our questions about the public forum in-person options. I wouldn't want to wait until only less than 2 weeks before the first public forum to be up to speed on what the plan for that is.
Commissioner Shaw.
And just seconding the request to please get the meeting notices on our calendars as soon as possible, so that we're holding the correct dates. Thank you.
Commissioner Malaba.
Just building on that, wondering about a runoff show for those meetings and what role we will each be playing, if there's any presentation or speaking roles for the commissioners. So I think that begins to take a turn from just listening sessions.
Logan, do you have any clarifying questions, or are you clear on what the asks are?
Yep. Yeah, I will have to be in touch with Elsa tomorrow and get an answer out to you folks as soon as possible.
Great. Commissioner O'Sullivan.
And just, I want to just make sure that I understand what we have. Are we, the forum dates that we have listed on the document, are those are those likely to be the final dates, or is there still a lot of adjusting and securing locations and other functions going on? Like how close to final are these dates, or are these the final dates?
Logan, Jen.
I'm not quite positive on that answer. I think they're somewhat flexible, but we could just be in this planning stages for now. Don't quote me on that, though. I think Elsa would have a better answer there.
Yeah, I'm sorry. This is Jen. Sorry. I don't have an answer, but we'll certainly find out. I mean, I'm dropping in, but I haven't been that close to this conversation. So we'll make sure to get the answer out to you tomorrow.
Thanks.
Commissioner Shaw.
Sorry, one other thing, just for the schedule going forward, are we still holding this Tuesday time slot kind of through the duration of our meetings? And if so, I think the calendar invites for those also run out. So we should just, it's helpful to just have it to hold even if we cancel the meeting.
I agree. So Logan, can you
Oh,
make sure
Logan,
that those are
yeah.
extended?
Will do. Yep.
Sorry, Jen, I spoke over you. Did you have something?
No, I'm going to say the same thing. Thank you.
Thanks. All right, any other questions? All right, then at this time, that concludes our business for today. Thank you for your time with us, and I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All right, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you all.
Nice to see you all again.
Thank
care.
you.